Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on March 28, 2023 at approximately 4:25 p.m. PST. Now, I returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. I call myself a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the ones I personally use in my day-to-day life, and the philosophies I talk about are the ones I personally live by. So this is not a question of here's a bunch of ideas, go and do this, I'm going to go do something else. Okay, if you ever do end up running into me in person, you'll find I talk pretty much the same way. Although, in all fairness, I don't use my hands half as much if I'm standing up and hanging on to something. And there we have, who do we got? Henry coming in with the gold. How you doing, Henry? Glad you could join us. I figured, things change a lot. And a lot of people end up doing them and making the mistake of fighting depression. You've always got the option, you can just give into it. But I figured I got looking at it and went, hey, Joe, you are in with the silver. How you doing? Glad you could join us. I figured, okay, the reality of it is this. Okay, when your life suddenly gets turned upside down, how do you possibly get turned around? How do you change your outlook? How do you motivate yourself? What works? Now, I can't tell you what works for everybody, but I can certainly tell you some of the things that worked for me. Okay. Now, I certainly acknowledge the fact that there's always somebody that's got a life that's gone worse. They've had a worse run of things than somebody else. Somebody else is on. There's always somebody that's had a better run of things. But the people that had a better run of things, the people that had worse run of things, people that had the same run of things that you did, okay, or very similar, none of them matter when it comes to your outlook on your own life. All of them could be the worst situations in anybody's life. But I'll tell you, the one that matters is what your life feels like to you. So how do you deal with it? How do you pick your feet and pick yourself up off the floor again and get moving forward? Well, for me, it really boiled down to sitting down. And the first time it hit me, the first time I remember, was when my marriage came to a close. And it was Christmas morning, the first year we were actually separated, which would have been back in 2008. I got up Christmas morning, and I'm sitting there going, okay. I sat for the longest time on the couch, staring at the Christmas tree, and looking at what was there. And I finally sat there and I went, okay, so this is life. What am I going to do with it? Well, where do I start? Best start with watering the plants that are dying on my counter. We'll start there and carry forward. Now, the other thing that I found worked like a charm. Once I made that decision that this was my life, it's time to move forward. I've got to do the same thing again. Only I'm not divorced. Okay, I think you have to get married to get divorced. It's like the old question. What is the number one, the leading cause of divorce? Bar none, across the world. Okay. And, I will give you that answer a little later unless somebody comes up with it. But I'm going to ask that question again and see if anybody comes up with the number one cause of divorce. Okay. And it is literally bar none. Okay, but I will tell you the answer may absolutely stun you. Where are we? Absolutely. And sometimes, Henry, your life can be going along great, and then all of a sudden the bottom drops out. You think about it. Everything was going tickety-boo for me until all of a sudden, 10 minutes before I started shift, I found out I no longer had a job to start at. Okay. That all of a sudden turned my whole life inside out. You know, but I have made some progress. Like I told you guys I had a whole stack of paper over here. Right. You can't see it because of the angle of the camera. But I went through, what was it now? Book 1 and book 2 and part of book 7. Part of book 7. Still got stuff in book 7 I got to deal with. But book 1 and book 2 I went into to actually get them started. And here we have Chris coming in with the bronze. And by George, you also came in with the absolute, bar none, number one cause of divorce. Chris came in with getting married. The reality is, regardless of anything else, if you never got married, you never would get divorced. I'm really happy with that response, because most people, when you ask, the most common ones are infidelity, finance. They are actually ranking number 2 and 3, depending. Okay. The reality of it is, like, I was lucky. That is absolutely another one. When you're not getting the attention at home, okay, it does cause people to walk away. Not necessarily to cheat. Okay, it just comes to a close. And cheating is a whole different ballgame. But you're absolutely correct. If there's no intimacy, and intimacy does not always mean the bedroom. Okay, there's this funny little thing about spending quality time together, just quiet time, that so many people overlook. Okay. But that is one of those things. But the thing that people forget. Oh, fine. Here's one of the biggest things of finance that creates a problem there. Henry saying, don't forget about finances. And I have had to tell, I cannot count the number of couples I've had to tell this to. You don't have to have joint finances, but you absolutely have to have joint interest in them. You absolutely have to turn around and know where the finances are going, which bills are being paid, what debts exist. Whether they're your debts or your partner's debts doesn't matter. But there has to be full disclosure of where the finances are sitting. This is the same thing I tell people about their kids. Keep the kids informed. They don't need the stress. Well, they certainly don't need the stress of understanding, of dealing with the fallout from it. One of the things that we have to look at is there's so many ways that your life can get turned upside down without warning. Okay, you lose a job, you lose a partner, you end up betrayed by somebody you thought you could trust. And I mean, the number of times that happens, from my standpoint, is pretty much incalculable. But it only matters to you. I mean, it may bother you when other people go through, and I appreciate that if it does. But the brass tacks of it is that unless it happens directly to you, it's not likely to have the same impact. Okay. So, I started going through things and going, well, how do you get motivated? Because I still have that problem, especially with the way I'm looking at the world going right now. Well, that ain't going to work. This is the thing. Cup my son gave me for my birthday. Gave me this one for Christmas. And I'm pretty certain you guys recognize that one. And then we got this one. Okay. Needless to say, this was actually made by my son in school. So we got Wolverine on the one side, and then we've got Skyrim on the other. Problem: he did not make it big enough. But Then we've got the one he gave me for Father's Day, right, which is this one, which is, from my standpoint, it's a little bigger, still works. But these are the kinds of cups I end up hanging on to, not the ones that are, just run of the mill. Oh, I came across them because they were required. And then when I run out of coffee here, I've got my other backup. And yeah, I know this is bad, but apparently, according to YouTube, just one bottle of this will save you hundreds of dollars in gas prices. If you just one bottle of that, apparently added to your engine, to your gas tank, will save you hundreds of dollars in gas. And it absolutely will, because the thing will seize your engine, if I understand it right. By the way, Coke works great for a cleaner, for a kitchen cleaner or for a bathroom cleaner. It works better than anything like that I've found. Works fantastic for bathroom cleaning. Okay, just remember, once you cleaned with it, make sure you clean the floor or the counter, or whatever you're using to cut through grease. Cut through whatever. But how do you turn around and get motivated? Now, for me, it boiled down to looking in the mirror and going, so this is where my life sits. Thank you so much, Henry. I do appreciate that. And we all know where that comes from. I've been playing it a lot lately, and this morning, on Skyrim, I just finished getting, what was it now? I just got the horn from Jurgen, and I forget his last name. So I got to go back up to the throat of the world and give it to them. But I've just been revealed to the Blades as the Dragonborn. Now, that said, I already own a house in Skyrim. I own a house over in, where do I? Well, I own Lakeview Manor at this point. Thank you so much, Henry. Apparently, you know the game. I've got a good memory. It's just really short. I'm already a member of the Assassin's Guild, the Thieves Guild. I'm in the works of becoming a member of the Bards College and the Mages Guild. Yeah, I started playing years ago. I had to quit after I had my stroke because my left hand wouldn't work. But I started again, and it does distract a lot of my time, which is not necessarily a good thing. But on the other hand, it does give me something in the modern world that I can actually connect with, in a manner of speaking. But I'm looking at it right now going, I will get a house in each one of the holds, in the long run. But I was talking to a friend of mine when we were talking, and because I told him, I said, I don't really see the point in most of the shouts. So I'm sitting there going, so I'm telling him this. I said, I absolutely like the one, the power shout, but he says, you got to get marked for death. So I ended up picking up marked for death. I've got it at 2nd level now. And I'll tell you, it wipes out the problem with dragons. It just completely decimates their health. Makes them so much easier to take out. Now, what do we got here? Henry Jones. And YJ, in with honorable mention. How you doing? Glad you could join us. So I've got very big goals in the game, in the Skyrim game. And what I'm not doing is picking sides in the war. I figured, to heck with that. Well, I ended up accidentally in one fight because they were at extreme range and I couldn't tell. So I ended up killing one member of the rebellion, right, and one member of the Empire. Worked out rather nicely. So it was even, although I do have a small bounty on my head I'll have to pay. It was an accident, but oh well. And of course, I ended up losing my one hireling. I ended up losing because, well, I couldn't tell who she was, and I ended up trying to shoot the enemy, and she ran in front of it. On the other hand, Lydia is currently, she has to be my steward over in the Lakeview house. Oh, it'll be fine. It's, I do my best not to end up with a bounty, which is really neat when you think I'm a member of the Thieves Guild and the Assassins Guild. You just have to be careful how you do it. So, of course, the next time I play, I'm going to make my way sooner or later over into, where is it now? Solstein? I think that's where it is. I gotta go over there and find out who these cultists are that are trying to kill me. Now, I've already beat the game on beginner, so I'm taking it on the more on the next stage up. Well, I was thinking of that, but I think I'm just going to go hire another one. I managed to keep Lydia alive long enough to secure her straight away. Now, much as she was relegated to my house in Whiterun, I've moved everything out of Whiterun, and I've moved everything out of Whiterun now. It's all over in Lakeview at this point. But I am going to go about getting things done. I will eventually adopt a kid there, and I'm in line to try to marry somebody. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Mind you, I'm in line to marry somebody this lifetime too. But again, getting motivated, find something that you enjoy, because let's face it, there's an old saying that goes, it literally says, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Well, it may make Jack a dull boy, but I'm not impressed with having to work all the time. Now, I really don't see writing as work, but find something that catches your attention, that gets you out of bed in the morning, aside from the need to go to the washroom. Although I do recommend you get out of bed for that. But find something that gets you going. One of the other things I work with is when I'm not tied up with something else, good luck with that, I will turn really good, what I call good fast-paced music on. Something just to get the heart moving. These are just some of the tools, but there are so many ways that your life can go upside down that we can absolutely look at it and go, what am I going to do with it? Now, myself, I can look in the mirror at this point and go, yeah, I'm actually very content with the way my life is going with the organization. As a matter of fact, I should do something here. Well, those are all things I didn't do that. What is that? Oh, okay. Get those out of my way so I can actually make sure that I've got my list running properly here. Okay, that's got to be done. Whoop. Take that, because I'll tell you, went out for lunch today. Should not have gone. The place was appalling. And, frankly, it's a simple issue from my standpoint. It's a simple issue. Had my uncle been the one walking into the restaurant, he'd have closed it without even blinking. The care of the staff, all the way down to the state of cleanliness, was right through the floor. Now, bearing in mind that I used to work hospitality for 22 years, I spent working in restaurants. It gets to be really annoying when you see somebody dropping that kind of a ball. But it just crossed my mind here, Henry. Where you've got become a necromancer and raise them as a thrall. Okay, That's not a bad idea, but realistically, translating that into the human world, into the physical world, the other option is take a look at where your life is. Whatever you're not doing that was making you happy. Okay. And I'm referring to assuming it follows karmic law. Okay. If you used to do something that made you happy, that made you content, that is something you might want to consider looking at again. But I'm a bit of a perfectionist in a lot of ways. But got that out of the way, need to do that. And when I get done, something moved there. So find something, doesn't matter what it is. In my case, it was organizing my office to start with. Now it's getting all the loose storylines together and getting them tailed off. Okay. Plus, of course, the expansion in Race of the Worlds. And I was I'm really happy with some of the pictures. Some of them are going to be a slightly different endeavor, but we'll take a look. Because it's something I was thinking of. I've got pictures for all but 9 of them. 5 of which are 5 of those are in the works. But I'm seriously considering recommissioning new pictures. Right, because some are not quite as perfect as I'd like. Okay, they are very good, don't get me wrong. I've signed off on all of them. So the book is not getting delayed for this next endeavor. It's just I'm a bit of a perfectionist and I'm bound and determined I'm going to get things done the way I desire in my life. Okay, I cannot do that for you. I can tell you, settling for second best, there is such a thing. People talk about one thought. What do you think? Just one thought at a time. Good luck with that. But there is an idea that people have of finding somebody to settle down with. Okay, and I looked at that. I can understand that, Henry. I don't touch a garden. I tried for years. Of course, I'm in an apartment, but I tried for years to grow plants on my deck, and all I managed to grow on the deck were dead plants and a nice collection of them. So I just finally gave up on it and went, nope, not going to happen anymore. I've got 4 plants in my house that are struggling to survive. And I'm doing my best to help them, but I'm not good at it. This is something I just had to come to terms with. But like you've got your gardening, I write my gardens. And I worked it out. And did I really? I actually got that many? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. Not bad. I don't have 33 books I'm writing. I've got 40. I should probably slow down on the numbers for a bit. But these are all coming together. I was writing in 4 different books today. Before the end of today, I will have been adding to at least 6. Okay, probably 7. But then I got my relaxation time in this morning. But find something that gets your blood going, that really gets you going. I want to I desire to get out of bed and get this accomplished. Okay, the idea I've got to get it accomplished so I don't get thrown out of my house because my house is a mess. It is motivation, but that's not the type of motivation I'm referring to. Okay. I find it absolutely amazing that I've actually got that many books. I didn't actually realize I had that many on the go. So now I'm just looking at it going, time to find a way to really get focused and make things happen. And there is nothing more satisfying that I'm aware of than like this sheet here, this particular little piece here. Okay, this little piece here is an addition to book 7. That is book 7. So while I'm doing that, why don't I do that side of it? Because that's just bizarre. That's book 9. Let's open that just for half a second and we'll see where book 7 is. Let it open up. And then see what happens when we go. Let us try that funny little word there. I think I found the spot. That's good. Shadow, how you doing? Hey, this is not considered late. Let's face it, Shadow. I mean, technically it is. But let's face it. In the illustrious words of Gandalf, a wizard is never late. They always arrive exactly when they are supposed to arrive. Okay, so you can't be late there, Shadow. Where did we go? Close that down and minimize it. Yeah, we could take that to a whole different type of topic, and we're just not going there. Okay. That comment that you made there, Shadow. Shadow goes better late than never, and there are times when that is not entirely correct. I know, Shadow. You're related to the alphabet wizard, and I'm sure you remember him. But those fine little characters seem to be being removed from even that little bit of imagination is being quashed in today's world. Oh, there you go. Yeah. You're playing the world, you're playing with it in 30 minutes. I'm going to miss gaming this Thursday. I'm supposed to be playing Shadowrun this Thursday, but it's my son's birthday, so I will not be playing Shadowrun this Thursday. I'm taking him out to, well, more to the point, he asked me to take him out to John Wick 4. And since I've seen John Wick 1 through 3, it's a reasonable attachment. I'm saying, and he's seen them, so it's like, okay, let's go and take a look at that. And of course, we were at the gaming table on Sunday, and he turns around and asks a really good family friend. Asked a really good family friend to join us for the movie. Myself, I'm playing a sorcerer thief on Sundays. He's not exactly like, he's not your traditional thief. He doesn't go picking everybody's pockets. He uses magic to pull the stuff out. Works out much easier, much harder to track. But he makes a much better killing at it. Oh, I absolutely agree with you. Oddly enough, there is a variation on that. I do firmly believe take care of yourself first, right? Because frankly, if I don't take care of me, I'm dead. I can't take care of him. But my children are literally they are two of the only people. Well, they are the only people I will just flat out call. I will break off whatever I'm doing, even if I'm working. If I get a phone call from them saying I'm in trouble, work goes by the wayside. And I know this for a fact because when I was working, I got a call from my son one day. He'd run into a problem, and I literally phoned my boss and said I'm off shift. until I deal with this, I'm done. Yeah, and sad to say, Joe, you're very right there. Much of what was taught, of what's been taught, in quite seriously, every one of the spiritual guidelines that I've run into people from, every one of them have been twisted sideways, and people have lost the real value of what they were intended for in the first place. You know, I like the song by Whitney Houston, "Children Are Our Future." Okay, I think that was the title of it. I know that was the word and the phrase in it. But if we don't deal with the kids, you know, granted, yeah, I mean, it's very much a case of either teach your kids to function or they've got to figure it out themselves after the fact. You know, now for me, I found a couple of things to motivate me. One, I'm not happy with the way my life is. I'm happy with the way it's going. Okay. As in, I know where my finances are. I'd like them to be in better shape, but so be it. Which reminds me, where did I just put my pencil? And of course, oh, there it is. So I will have to deal with that as soon as I get done here. Go Y7, we go finances, because I got to get my finances done today, and then I've got to get an email and what have you. But take a look at what makes you excited. Now, I don't run music when I'm on stream, primarily because it gets distracting on occasion. And besides that, I have no idea how to stream it anyway. So we're just not going to go there. Okay. But let me ask you this. If there were one thing that you have total control over in your life that you're not content with right now, that you would like to be and like to change, what would it be? Okay. Because this is where I'm starting things. I'm looking at it going, okay, I can keep talking about changing things, or I can do something about it. So what I've got at this point, now that's book 7, and this one, that's book 7, that is book 7. Yeah, that's book 7. Okay. Got to double check and make sure I had all that. So that's book 7 and book 9. These are just the ones that I'm going to be working on in order tonight. Now I've already added to book 1, 2, and to 1 and 2. And then we have Y10, Y11, and Y12. So yeah, tonight I get finished this stream, right? And wait a minute, tonight is Wednesday, I think. Pretty certain today is Wednesday. No, today should be Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. So that's good. So tonight, I'm not booked for tonight. So Tuesday night, tonight, I get done this stream. I will be writing in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've already written in 2 of the books. I'll be adding information to another 1, 2, 3, 4, another 6 tonight. This is just because by breaking it up, it cuts down on getting overburdened on one end. Okay. I may get into editing as well, which would be nice because we're a little behind in where I'd like to be at this point. But let's face it, life gets in the way. So I've quit with going, oh, next month we'll have it, with the one exception of I'm getting the last of the pictures done. I've already got them lined out, and I've got to add more to it, and to the 4 that I've got to send him. As a matter of fact, why don't I get that set up? This is just one of those things. No, the answer there, Terry, and Terry's just asking, can poltergeist teleport physical objects? The answer is no, but what they do can seem to be teleportation. what they actually do is a poltergeist will take an object, this little foam thing. They'll take this little object, they'll pick it up, they'll wrap it in their hand so you can no longer see it because they're invisible to start with. So they completely envelop it, and then they move it from here to over here, and then let go of it. So it appears to teleport from one side to another. All they do is take it out of your visual spectrum, but it's not actual teleportation. Okay, now that said, actual teleportation does exist. Reverse time travel? No, but teleportation absolutely does. And that really boils down to either knowing how to teleport or knowing where the wormhole is to make it happen. Okay, but do poltergeists actually teleport things? No. Usually they deal with things that, they have to deal with something smaller than them. Most of them are relegated to things smaller than their hand. Okay, but all they're doing is blocking it out of your visual context and then moving it. Net result, it disappears here, shows up over here. It's very much the same as when you're watching for UFOs at night. Don't look for the UFOs themselves so much as look at the star field. If you've got a star here and a ship travels across in front of it, the star will disappear and then eventually reappear. It's not because the star goes away, okay, but because there's something blocking your view of it. And that's one of the key factors. People have asked me, how do you spot how do you spell a UFO? Well, I look for what's not there, for what goes away and what comes back. It's easier than trying to actually see the outline of the UFO in the first place. Okay, the other thing that you got to look at is if you're looking at and most of the time, to my eyes anyway, it's a red light. If you're looking at a light going across the sky, as far as I know, they go either north, south, or east, west. Okay, but if it's traveling at a steady pace, and it's even if it's blinking, and it's traveling at a steady pace in one direction, you're probably looking at a satellite, or you're looking at a guy in a UFO that figured it out. But if that same light is going this way and then it goes up, we're going to stop, we're going to go back this way, and then we're going to go forward again, that's probably a UFO, much like the one that goes, we're going this way, I think we'll go this way. Okay, these are different signatures that you can look at, or different telltale signs, if you will. But, I'm sitting here, been here for what? 20, no, really? Been here for 30 minutes already, and I've already got, for when I get off this feed, I've already got 6 books to add to, plus 3 other tasks I've got to do as soon as I get done. Intriguing. Lunch was worse than I thought. And for lunch to sit poorly with me, that's a pretty bad lunch. But the real catch to getting your life in order is find something that absolutely excites you. Something that gets your attention. Now, that's something else I do want to do. Well, I just ran out of paper on that note, so that's okay. Didn't technically run out of it, got a whole whack of it here. It's funny, years ago, we had a situation. There was a sale on, right, for 200 sheets of lined paper. Now, normally at the time, it was selling for $3 for 200, right? But whatever happened, the store in question put all this stuff out at 25 cents a pack. So I ended up buying a stack of paper 3 feet deep for about $20. Not even that much. I don't know. You think about it. I go way down here. Now, bear in mind, I'm an author. Okay. So when you're looking at 25 cents for that, right? I mean, it was an absolutely priceless setup. But this whole bottom drawer here, this is the legal size filing cabinet. This whole cabinet, one drawer is absolutely full of these. So, now I can't get it back in there properly. So I'm just not going to fight with it. But no, I've got all this stuff going on. Now, which one is this? This. I don't even know where that fits. Gonna have to figure that one out. But no, find something that gets your attention in a big way. Once you do that, you'll find it so much easier to move in the right direction for you. Remember, I cannot tell you what is the best direction for you. I can tell you what I perceive as your strengths. Okay. I can tell somebody what I perceive as something they may be able to work with. Okay, well, that looks terrible. So from that standpoint, all anybody can do is go, this is what I see, but you're the one that's got to buy into it. You're the one that's got to decide. Oh, heavens, yeah. I honestly have, Joe. Not so much where I live now, but when I was younger, I always did. Okay, but what you call strange, I just called normal. Of course, you got to remember, I know a number of actual well-versed practicing witches. Like I really, from that standpoint. So have I seen people do different different rituals? Yeah, absolutely. Fortunately, this lifetime, before anybody jumps on that silly direction, fortunately, this lifetime, I haven't actually borne witness to people doing human sacrifice. Witnessed people doing murder, but it wasn't ritualistic. I call it murder, but then I was in the my labs. They called it just a process. But yeah, some of especially if you're dealing with the pagans, okay, some of what people call weird rituals, okay, you got to remember what a ritual is. A ritual is a symbol. It's a certain set of emotions or a certain set of words that help you focus on a certain outcome. Okay. Another very common ritual that some people would call strange is the second you get up in the morning, pour yourself a cup of coffee. Okay. I recommend myself a coffee cup bigger than these little dinky things with the little tiny little handles. I think they call them teacups. I consider them a pain in the neck. But anything that follows a pattern to help you focus on a specific outcome, okay, is quite seriously a ritual. And that's the thing. Sometimes rituals are really important. And this is why I say it sounds weird, but if you're struggling to let go of an addiction, and recording your own voice, identifying said addiction, and going, literally, I no longer desire to do such and such. Okay. It's a ritual. People have rituals for wrapping up their day, or for wrapping up their night, for opening up their work schedule. These are all things. Rituals themselves may look weird. And yeah, I know this went a whole different direction than what you were insinuating there, Joe, or more to the point what you were asking. But we have to understand that some things may look strange, but are extremely practical. And who, pray tell, is pulling up outside my house? Because I'm nosy. I cannot tell. Except for the fact the person does not appear to know how to drive. Gee, I can't picture that. Can you guys picture somebody in today's world not really knowing how to drive? I mean, even the ones that have, that have been taught for years, or have driven for years. But no, the thing is, when we take a look at the actual concept of a ritual, it is something to help you focus on a given outcome. Okay, so do I have my own rituals? Certainly. And I've had to modify them as I go along. Now, I was thinking of looking for something and cannot for the life of me remember what it was. One of these days I'll get my brain working right, and then I could be dangerous, but, it's like I've told people, I know just enough to know I don't know enough. And the more I know, the less I know. Hey, let's not do that. I think my Coke was a little bit too wired up here. So, that being what it was. But no, I found for myself it was real simple. Take a look at the way my world is. What do I do from there? So I've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got nine sheets that I've got to clear off today, which gives me a very definitive goal. Okay, that's 9 sheets in I think probably 3 different books, but at least 2 that I've got to deal with. But that's because I desire to have that finished off for me. Oh, forgot to mark this down because it's working. So we go here. Now, I'm going to ask you guys again. Okay, simply because it seems like a good idea. Are there any topics? Because I've got to get these moved into place so I'm a little more organized. Get you out of my way before I hurt myself. What are we at? Tuesday. I have no idea what that is. Well, I do know what it is. I just don't know where it is. I know for myself and cannot for the life of me remember when. Which means I didn't make the note very well in case you hadn't noticed. But I've got all these things on the go. And I do caution you. Everything you do is connected. Every single thing. Okay. Now I was looking. Oh, that's what I was going to pop open. Take a look at that. Oh, no, we could minimize all of that and be done with it. That way we can open this one up and actually get started on things properly. Okay, that works. Now, where, pray tell, did that funny thing go? Right there. So what I'm looking for is really, we've gone all over the place with this particular stream. And I don't know about you. And I think the best way to put it is, with it being all over the place, is this, in your guys' opinion, a good thing or a bad thing? Okay. Because I'm really, what I'm looking at is trying to find a way to make it, if you will, identifiable, to make it stand out. Okay, aside from the fact that it's scattered. And even from my standpoint, it's scattered a lot of the time. But I really am not entirely certain if I ever figured out how not to be scattered. I do know that that 3 different doctors have come right out and told me I do not have ADD or ADHD. Okay. I've had 3 independent, professionally trained psychiatrists turn around and tell me, yes, my mind goes all over the place. I'm very active, but I do not have either of those illnesses. I do, however, have temporal dissociative disorder, which literally means I have no clue how long time is. I can be here for 5 minutes. If I didn't have the clock up where it tells me this is how long you've been on the air, I wouldn't know. My parents used to comment about it. I'd tell them I'm coming down to see you next Friday. And as my mom put it, we just had to get used to the idea that next Friday could have 3 or 4, could have 4 or 5 different Fridays between them. Terry's going, Keith, what do Ouija boards actually do when people play with them? Well, the board itself just sits there. But what they do is they open up a communication link, between this world and the other side of the veil. Now there's a couple of veils that you can bridge between the here and the hereafter, as in life and death. Or sometimes you can tap into another vibratory rate, into another vibratory location. And that's where things can get dicey. The weird part about it is the people that are dead very seldom get pulled across. They will communicate from the other side. Absolutely. And whoever decided to turn the Ouija board into a toy, I am extremely unhappy with personally. Of course, I'm one of the people that's had to go and straighten up the mess. But they are a very functional communication line between corporeals and non-corporeals. The problem is, if you don't handle them properly, if you do not open them up right and close them down properly, what you'll end up doing is leaving the door open. And some of them will sneak through, and some of the people on the other side. And usually we're talking from a different vibratory rate. The dead do not, as in zombies, do not come across. Zombies really don't. But if you want to see the local rendition of zombies, that's done in these things. How many people have you noticed playing with these that their brain just absolutely goes on hold? Yeah, what it is, a lot of that, Terry, and this is going to sound really dismissive, a lot of that is the publicity and the marketing. People they play with the Ouija board. It does react. It absolutely does react to most people's hands. And it will respond in a very weird fashion. But the marketing is that you're contacting the dead, and the people from the dead can come back and haunt you. And is it technically a possibility? Certainly. But most people that run into that, what it is they become more hypersensitive to the situation they're dealing with. Maybe that tendency of the door opening and closing was normal. Maybe it had been going on for years. But now that you've played with the Ouija board, it becomes that much more visible. Now, this does not mean that all of them are making it up, or that any of them are. A Ouija board helps tap into your superconscious, into that part of you don't have necessarily full access to. I remember with Ghostbusters, the demon was Gozer. And I have no idea who Zozo is. It just, from my standpoint, number one, I don't know the demon name Zozo. From my standpoint, however, it doesn't matter that I don't know them. Let's face it, there's a lot more of them than there are of me. But if you've got lots of people claiming this one individual is coming through, I will tell you this. Demons themselves, now demons are an interesting construct. Demons only deal with one person at a time on the whole. Oh, okay. Well, like I said, my memory when it comes to movies isn't necessarily great. But it doesn't, but thanks very much for that, YJ. I thought Gozer was the woman, but that's okay. I'll watch it again someday. The reality of it is when people are starting to see things or starting to have things happen, let us not forget that all people are born with the capacity to manipulate 0 point energy. Okay, there we go. This is what's called trivia night for Ghostbusters. And this is why I don't deal with much of that side. Like, I do like the movies. So we gotta ask them, YJ, who was the demon they were playing gatekeeper and keymaster for? Because now, from my standpoint, it's just a curiosity thing. I take a look at it. This little monster here. And before anybody comes up with a brilliant idea, no, I am not about to take a movie and start dissecting it. I don't watch enough of them and I don't remember enough of them to do that effectively. But there are some movies I do enjoy, don't get me wrong. But when we look at the reality of it, the real catch to really getting refocused is find something to get your attention. For me, I've got a number of things, and I recommend, and quite seriously, find 3 things to get your attention. Find 3 things to draw an income through. Okay. 3 is that neat little number for creativity. Okay. Now, for me, I've got the writing. Okay, I'm getting that all dealt with. I've got my other half. And now, of course, I've got Skyrim. Well, Skyrim, of course, takes me out of the realm of work. Although I do use, and of course, I've got D&D, which, let's face it, D&D and Skyrim is pure entertainment. D&D is what I use for planning. Okay. And then I've got my writing, right, which is what I'm using to get all this stuff in here down on paper, which is part of the reason why I've got so many books on the go at the same time. Okay. But when we take a look at the world, okay, you take a look at the world you're standing in and ask yourself, what do you desire to do with your life? How are you going to take control of your life and get really excited about making it happen? And I will tell you, you start with smaller things, and this is where that dream board comes in handy. Okay. And like I said, I go over here and I go down to not there, go to personal. Go into my personal file. And that is where I've shown you this before, guys. This is simply 12 different projects I'm working on this year. Okay. Already making headway on a lot of them. Joseph's going, speaking of movies, Mystic River, 2003. A fake cop and his old buddy took a young boy away. The guy in the passenger seat turns around and smiled. The ring on the right hand was an unusual shaped cross. Well, that could be an interesting one. I saw the trailer, not the trailer for it, but I saw the ad for it on Netflix, I think, and never bothered watching it. Didn't know if it was any use and didn't have the time to consider it at the point. But the thing with movies is they are a great time killer. Okay, because and even the ones that are claimed as documentaries or as fact-based, I look at most of them going, where'd you get your facts from? Because a lot of the things that I see that people have said are facts, especially in the metaphysical world, and more specifically in the realm of UFOs and aliens, I look at going, this doesn't mesh with what I remember or with what I've personally gone through. Which is an interesting situation. It doesn't mean the information is wrong. It just means it is very different from what I've seen. Because like I said, I am by no means perfect. And apparently the day today was not good because you can already feel the throat seizing. But I'm going to fight with it and make it through this anyway. At least I hope I am. If it gets too bad, well, we'll shut it down. But we'll see how that goes. But the reality of it is, you take a look at where your life is and where your life is. And like I asked earlier, oh, what do we got? Kimberly, how you doing? Oh, that's why. Okay. How you doing, Kimberly? Glad you could join us. Couldn't read my own handwriting. What time? Okay. I'm going to have to drop into that. I was saying earlier. Oh, you'll do fine, Kimberly. When you think about it, it's just a case of talking. Okay. I had it written down. I couldn't read my own writing. I've got it actually marked down tonight for 6 p.m. Now, for obvious reasons, I'm not going to be there right at the beginning. I will. How long are you going to be on for? Yeah, that was a direct question. You're going okay. Yeah, as soon as I'm done this video, as soon as I'm done this stream, I'll have to swing over there. Fortunately, as a matter of fact, let's do that. Just gotta find that one. BMR, I already put it in once, but this is the link to the show. So, guys, how about if we give Kimberly a little bit of a boost? Okay. And this is the link to Bigfoot Michigan Rob. This is the link to his channel. How if we pop in there and show our support for her? I mean, you guys have been great showing your support for me. I really appreciate it. This time we're going to pass it and we're going to flip it around and drop in and see what Kimberly's has gone through. Okay, and Kimberly, rest assured, at least, and I can only speak for me. Okay, no judgment intended at all. Okay, you'll do fine. I mean, heck, if I can sit here and do this, you're not going to have a problem with it. What do we got? After the ghost hunter interview. Yeah, I get a kick out of it. I always found that going ghost hunting was chasing such a dead issue. But, we turn around and, Rob, you're going to find Rob real easy to talk to. Okay, but I won't be able to come in until after 6:30, but I will get there as soon as I can. But thank you so much for sharing your time with us. Again, this is one of those things you do. This is one of those things that can open an incredible door. For me, it was opened when I went on air with and what was his last name? His first name was Chuck, and I'm unfortunately drawing a blank. Oh, Charles Stansberg. The first time I went on the radio, he called me in on the radio. I was just in the chat room, and I have no idea why he called me in on the radio. And to this day, I'm not entirely certain. Hey, Lily Pond, how you doing? Glad you could join us. The reality of it is, this could open an incredible gateway of adventure for you. I know everybody, most people that end up on the radio that I've talked to, what happens is they go in there. If they're legit, if they aren't legit, they get their 15 minutes of fame. If they are legit, they end up stuck in a wheel. They end up invited into a wheel that, goes round and around and around, and I'm making myself dizzy. I have no doubt about that at all. The nice part about it is that when, what I find when I'm dealing with people, especially when somebody comes forward with a new experience, the one thing that I have always had a problem with is other people in the field going, oh, that couldn't have happened to you. I believe in UFOs. I believe it's happened to me. I believe the aliens are here, but you have not gone through it. I'm like, excuse me? Unless you were absolutely there and it went to you and it happened to you and they weren't there, Yeah. I mean, this is a world that is getting much larger, and I'm referring to the YouTube field. People complain about YouTube, and I'm looking at it going, it has connected more people in the UFO community than any other field I've ever heard of. Okay, I mean, there's lots of people that suffered with it in silence, and I call it suffering because if your life is going along fine, and all of a sudden it gets flipped upside down, it becomes a major problem trying to adjust. Okay. The nice part about it from your standpoint, from everybody's standpoint, is once you pick a direction that you're excited about, okay, you're going to do one of two things. You're either going to get lost in it or you're going to get energized by it. In my case, I started off writing a few books. Next thing I know, well, like I said, I got 40 on the go now. I get up in the morning, the first thing I start doing is going, okay, what do we got to add to? And when I get done today, I'll end up, like I said, I've got 6 listed that I've got to work on today alone. But, I really do encourage people to find the thing that really excites them. That says, hey, let's get out of bed in the morning. Where are we here? Personal 2023. One of the fact of the matter is, I'll ask this again, guys. Okay. I will ask this again. But is there any topic or any vein? Like, I mean, if you think about it, when we take a look at Spaced Out Radio talks about all sorts of things, UFO and off-world related. Okay. BMR, Bigfoot Michigan Rob, is focused on Bigfoot. Right. Then you take a look at Shadow and Son, and they focus on gaming and miniature configuration. Okay, just trying to figure, because my areas are so wide ranging that I will deal with. Kimberly, thank you so much for that. Like I said, I was going to add these to the schedule, into my schedule right away. So tomorrow is Wednesday. So writing in at this point, okay, we will be dealing with various meditation techniques. Don't need that. Should put the second word in instead of two of the first. But yeah, just for everybody's notice, tomorrow on March 29th, we will be dealing with various different meditation techniques. Angels in Life, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Yeah, and I'm thinking, that's where I've been trying to focus there, Kimberly, because there is so much focus on the negative side of it. Put my pen down over there. There is so much focus on the negative, and so many billions of people that sit there listening and getting told the world's going to end, you're all going to go to hell because you didn't do exactly what you were told, and money is the root of all evil, so give me all your money. Now, I will tell you, money is not the root of all evil, but I'm quite open to receiving it. But meditation on the 30th is Thursday. I will not be there. But I do agree with you there. Which one was it here? Okay, the first in the... Yeah, and I think that is an excellent place to focus, because the number of different areas that we deal with, that I deal with. I mean, I've watched the world turn itself inside out. Well, let's see. If I just look at the simple ones, the Exodus from Egypt, the Great Flood, the collapse of Pompeii, the fall of the Roman Empire, the Black Death, that was a fun one. Well, no, that wasn't fun, but it was certainly profitable. My disappointment with that was I lost a really wonderful wife and 2 kids. But I was so busy trying, with people dying to get into my establishment, that I didn't have time to really mourn too much. But on the 31st, okay, we're going to look at the quantum drive. Okay, actually, in all fairness, it's more an issue of from the consortium standpoint, it's literally called the OTE drive, which is short for the oscillator densification of the tri-transtemporal equilarity. Now, before you jump on that, am I going to be able to give you the scientific equations to make it happen? Not a snowball's prayer. Terry, that's one of those things that you may not like the answer to. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do feel it's a good idea, but there are some things that, as the saying goes, once you've seen them, you cannot unsee them. And the one thing you got to remember about opening that third eye is once you open it, it's like lighting a candle in a place that is pitch dark. Okay. You sit in a room that's completely black, sit there for a number of hours. The moment somebody fires up a lighter or a flashlight, everybody swarms to them. And that's essentially what happens when you get that third eye open. Okay. I have constant issues. Okay. I have constant issues with regards to the ghost showing up. Where are we here? Boy, that didn't take long to fill up the week. doing that right now. Yeah, today's the 28th. Yeah, so I'm just over here filling things in. Kind of have to. Okay. So what have we got here? See, my week basically runs till Thursday as far as the show goes, as far as the stream goes, because it's Thursday that I absolutely... Yeah. On the other hand, some of my best friends are already dead. And I do mean I still get to talk to them. Nathan, how you doing? Glad you could join us. So presumably, like usual, you're probably working, which is a good thing. It keeps you out of trouble. Or pays your way into it. I'm not sure which. Don't know if you caught that last piece there, Nathan. But potentially of special import to you. On the 31st, this coming Friday, we will be discussing the quantum drive, the quantum starship drive. Okay, we're starting to, with your guys' help. Okay, Kimberly, best of luck, and I will join you there in about, well, I'll join you there somewhere around 6:30, 6:45 sort of thing. Okay, and like I said, guys, just a real quick once again, BMR, where did it go? That one? Grab the, oh, we already have that, so it should still be sitting there. BMR. Here it is, guys. Make note of it, and when we get done this stream, or if you want to go over and join it right at 6 o'clock, I fully understand. Let's face it, free will. But there's the link to find her. Yeah, I kind of thought it might be. No, we're going to be, Nathan, we're going to be discussing the oscillator densification of the tri-transformational equipolarity and how that works based from the subquantum field. Okay. You know, I just figured it might be of interest from your standpoint because it's one of those things that is transferable not only from the starship standpoint, but in day-to-day life. Okay. Might be an interesting, I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know what questions are going to come up. But especially if it's new to you, that ought to make it somewhat more entertaining in a lot of ways. At least from my standpoint. You know, so I now have, you know, I've now got things booked to almost to the end of the week. So thank you so much, guys, for that one, because it really saves me a lot of headbanging to try and figure things out. I can't tell you how to build the hardware, but I can tell you the way that prayers and intentions are maintained. Okay. I can't tell you about the hardware. That's somebody else's department. Okay. The people that deal with electronics in this world are really the ones that might be able to do that. But when you're looking at prayers, one thing people have constantly been misguided on is you don't ask in your prayer, you don't ask for help. You thank for having received help. Okay, because the moment in the spiritual realm, in the realm of prayers, the moment you turn around and say, yo, please gift me this, okay, because I don't have it. In the realm of prayers, if you don't already have it or you won't have it in the future, then you won't have it now. It just isn't going to come. Oh, okay. Well, maybe if we can explain how the subside of it works, you can figure out how the electronics work. Okay, because the neat part about it is that once you I can explain. Odd question for you, Nathan, and this is going ahead of myself here by a few days, but do you know anything about magnetics? Because I do have schematics with specific microgauss readings required to build a specific little item. Okay, and it is when it gets put together, it could be a game changer for a lot of people where it comes to accessing their higher senses. Perfect. On during the show, I will get into that more because the McCocken and Amplinet that I've got the schematics for, I actually have the information on them. That worked out well. Yeah, we will go into much better detail on that one. Okay, on Friday, because I do feel that one's going to count, and that's going to add some interesting attention. Okay, that's just wrong. No, that wasn't my paint water. Where are we here? Oh, now that could be absolutely beneficial. Yeah, well, the thing I found, Nathan, is that most people that claim to know a lot about it, they're great at regurgitating stuff they read about somewhere, and not too good at the stepping outside the box. Now, personally, I have trouble figuring out where the box is. I'm still trying to figure that out. But when we are looking, and this is why I say find something to get excited about. Now, the reality is, when we take a look at that side of it, yeah, no doubt. See, I know just enough to know I don't know enough. Do I have any idea how to functionally put it together? No. Yeah, that's very much the same line I go with there, Nathan. I know just enough to know I don't know enough. Net result I keep asking. Problem is, the questions I keep asking, people keep giving me answers to. They're the same as the people gave me the answer before. And most of what is written down doesn't have the answers I'm looking for. It's the stuff that, you see, if we go back in time, and I don't mean we can travel back, but if we go back in time, information was passed on by memory. Okay. If we've just simply repeated time and again until it sunk in. Nowadays, you don't even have to remember people's phone numbers. When I was growing up, if you didn't remember the phone number in your head or write it down, you were hooped. Nowadays, the electronics do it. Of course, the funny part is the electronics remember the phone numbers and all the contact information, and then we have a power outage, or your phone dies. Okay, the second that happens, now you're dead in the water, which is why I solved that problem. What's that? Yeah. Nathan's going, I don't need a system to belong to in any way. I agree with you wholeheartedly there. Although I am having a little bit of fun trying to sort that out in my own head. Came over here looking for something and I don't remember what it was. Oh, came over here looking for this specifically. See, most people have all of their data in they've got all of their data on their phone or on their computer. I don't trust computers. I fry the poor things. So there's my database of phone numbers, passwords. Like, this is one password database you're not going to hack. Okay. So I've got all of my phone numbers, all my passwords, all stuck in here. Okay. This thing does not suffer from a power outage. And a computer, though, it will suffer from a fire. So will this. Fortunately, not overly interested in having a fire. So I mean, this solves my problem memory. As long as I don't forget where I put this, which, by the way, I've done before. So what I've been doing is I figured out the more of the clutter I get out of the way, the happier I am. And when was that due? There we are. Okay, that answers that. That's part of the finances I'll deal with today and mark them off. Find something to get out of bed in the morning for. And I will tell you, one of the fastest tricks, and this is where this book came in. Okay, this little book. Now you'll notice, here's the funny part about it. Okay, well, not exactly funny. I'd written it first of all and didn't catch it. If you look at the title, it says, "Believe in yourself and follow your dreams." The funny part about it is that didn't work out quite the way I wanted it to. So I changed the cover on it, and you'll notice the difference in the covers. Okay. Or more to the point, you'll notice the difference in the names. Because it is this issue of really looking in the mirror and going, what is holding me back? What am I not content with? And how can I turn around and make it happen in a more effective fashion? Now, I absolutely agree with the idea, with an idea that I think Kimberly just mentioned just before she went to do her show. Okay, and that is what we can do is start focusing on those little steps, how we can cope with, how we can help each other a little more. Just little things that aren't going to put anybody out. Okay. That will help you, that will help your neighbor. And as a side effect, will turn around and help put society back on proper track. Angel, so I mean, we're looking at a massive opportunity here. Okay. I was looking at this going, we are only reaching, some people. Well, I wonder what it's sitting at this point. Hit refresh there and see if anything has changed, which I usually do at least once. But if you like the stream, guys, do give us a thumbs up, and absolutely subscribe to the channel, because we got a massive job ahead of us. And yes, I am asking for your guys' assistance. Oh, where are we going? Ending Girl 111 is having a show over somebody that speaks to the Federation. I will do my best. That's oh, wait a minute. That's tomorrow. That's Wednesday morning. And I hope you know what. If you can send me the link to that there, Nathan, that'd be appreciated. And I will do my best to pop in. I know I'm pretty booked tomorrow, so it depends if it's on in the morning. I think I'm in a meeting most of the morning, but we will see what happens. Hey, Mr. L, how you doing? Yeah, thanks very much there, Nathan. I will be going through email and clearing all that out tonight anyway. How you doing there, Mr. L? Hopefully your day has gone well. But no, I finally got, I'm looking at this going, we have a massive problem ahead of us. And yeah, I know there's no question from my standpoint, I understand a fair chunk about the off-worlders, about the various races and their cultures. Okay, my father used to worry because I've got no fear of the metaphysical world, of the of the dead, of the nether realms, of the ghosts, of hauntings, that sort of thing. There's just no fear of it. Okay. Well, I shouldn't say there's none. I've had trouble dealing with the Talons. They still throw me for a loop. Of course, in all fairness, that a lot of the reason I still have trouble with that is my first encounter with them. I was only like 3, maybe 4 years old. And they simply snapped my arm because they wanted to see how much tension it would take to do so. Okay. Seriously, it never grew back properly. It wasn't until about 5 years ago it got repaired. Okay. And that was kind of comical the way that happened. But we have a massive job to do. Oh, yeah. It absolutely was. The funny part of the thing was, if I put my hand out palm upright, okay, I could not now. At this point, I can reach up and touch my shoulder. But for the longest time, and I don't know how that works because the elbow's still offset, but for the longest time, I'd go to bend it without moving my palm, and my hand would go over here, and I couldn't reach my shoulder at all. I couldn't even move the shoulder enough to make it happen. Thank you so much, there, Nathan. Nope, not double jointed. At least not that I'm aware of. No, the elbow is actually offset by about 30 degrees. If you take a look at it, right, if I put my hand down, there's the palm. Look where the elbow's sitting. It's over on the side of it, right? You put the other one down and it's on top. It's not double jointed, it's just offset. But I couldn't even roll my shoulder enough to feel my shoulder with my right arm. Just couldn't be done. And Lord knows I tried a lot. But no, 2013, it got fixed. I don't know what they did, but clearly they didn't reset the elbow itself completely. The comment I made was, it felt like somebody cut my arm off and reattached it. By the way, no, I don't have scars. Not on that area. I mean, it's comical. I've got scars in a few places, like on my hand, on my ankle, my lower abdomen, and one on my forehead somewhere. I'm surprised I don't have scars from the bottom of my lip. But we have a massive job to do, getting people to really start looking at what the future can hold in a positive fashion. This is one of the reasons why, with the Yldrbac Chronicles, the next book coming out is The Return to Paradise. It's when everything gets put back on track and we can start moving forward again, or more to the point, they can. But we'll take a look at how that comes out. Do I actually have book 12 open? I don't know. 7, the journal, and 9 is what I'll be working on today. Yeah, and that's just it. If things are done depending on, well, angels, I still question the idea as to whether or not, positive still functioning. Whether we're still functioning, mentally speaking, my brothers think I'm completely off nut. My father said everything, the shrinks have all confirmed I'm fine. My brothers, they still think I'm completely off nut and need serious help. Well, we're going to do one better for you there, YJ. We're not going to wait for the Elf-Worlders, because the Elf-Worlders have already passed on the information. But what are we looking at here? Problem solved. sort of. Pen and the first, where are we? April 1st will be a Saturday. Okay. I'm just marking this down for Saturday here. What we are going to talk about, and I know there's a number of you guys that like this one, because I'm not just going to target the fibromyalgia. Now, understand something very important. Where it comes to the healing modalities, okay, these are in tandem, in conjunction with modern medicine, whether we're talking mainstream medical, herbalism, or acupuncture, acupressure, doesn't matter. What I am going to discuss on Saturday is subquantum cellular regeneration and reorganization. Angels, I gotta ask you, when we talk about they, who are you actually, like, are we talking they as in the off-worlders or they as in people? Well, technically they're all people. But no, on Saturday I've just written it down so I can say for absolute certainty that's what my target is. Okay. Oh, the Yldrbacians. I will have to look into that and find out what the heck they're up to just because I'm nosy. Okay. There are a number of possibilities, but I do have information locked up on them that I've been working on, that I've been adding to book 2. Because I don't recall them being in book 1. So I get for having way too many races I'm working with. Yeah, definitely don't have them in book 1. And Joel's is the first. But no, I will take a look at the Yldrbacians and see just exactly what notes I've got on them that might explain why they would be interested in doing the surgeries. I can certainly understand the examinations. Oh. Now, there's one that might be entertaining. Just going to make a note on that. Like I said, I don't know all the new races coming into the area. And some of the ones that have been in bits and pieces, and I clearly didn't have access to them to start with. What did I do with my pencil? You know, guys, this is the one drawback in getting up and walking around. Is I keep forgetting where I leave the pencil, or the pen, depending. So, what do we got here? Just to be clear, because I may know them by a different name there, angels. If you can text me the information you've got about what you know about them, I may be able to cross-reference it and pull together a whole lot more. Green colored. See, one thing we have to remember is that I'm aware of the theta reticulans, of the grays in the first place. There are at least, of the shorter ones of the scientists, there are at least 15 different races, 15 different colors of people. Well, the funny thing is, humans are one of the, there are many races that just don't see clothing as a necessity. Okay. It's just one of those things that you just don't hide. Thanks very much, there, angels. I will take a look because I've got literally stacks of paperwork. Where did I put it? I started going through it. But this stack here, this is all information that most of this is information I have not added to my database, to the actual hard copy or soft copy database. This is why I said I've got 59 races in that first book, but this is the stuff I've collected. Which is why, yes, there will be more than 2 volumes coming out. Okay, but I'm going through them one at a time. Yeah. That's the problem and of course, the biggest problem I ran into was I'll make a note, put the date on it, and usually have the reason for it. But unfortunately, in recent years, especially after I had my stroke, I kept forgetting to write down what the question was or what the number was, and then forget entirely on what it was and not write down where it came from. Well, finding me isn't that hard. I don't actually travel very far. One day I will travel again, aside from off-world. And no, before anybody jumps on that question, they don't actually work like a taxi service for me. But if you ever do get up, whereabouts are you anyway, Nathan? Just because I'm nosy and forgot entirely. And this is one of those things I don't personally keep tabs on. I keep records on a lot of things, but the people I'm talking to, I don't. And if the sad part is, I was actually told by my primary psychiatrist, do not go looking for another psychiatrist because even the most open-minded of my colleagues will have you locked up and drugged out so fast your head will spin. Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a bit of a ways away. I don't think I've actually been to Tennessee. I know I may have flown over it because depending on where it actually is. And I'm really not entirely certain on that side of it. See, I was thinking of looking at the whiskey, but, that's just me. Of course, in my case, that used to be one of those things I was really, really well developed on. But no, I've got to go through it all one step at a time and piece it together. This is one of the reasons why I'm putting all this information together. And something just dawned on me here. Did I make a mistake? Sort of. No, not that. This. Oh, I do have it in there. Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you, a buddy of mine here in town is absolutely miraculous when it comes to making mountain moonshine. Yeah, and the funny part about it is the reason that we're not using these other forms is because the people that really have control of the situation right now buy them up and shut them down. I know of an engine that was designed, it's a ceramic engine that runs on tap water. Okay. And it was bought out and buried because it didn't make enough money. Okay. I shouldn't say tap water. I should say it runs on fresh water. Which, by the way, means if it's pouring rain, you can drive forever. But with that in mind, I think that was basically a hydrogen derivative. But I'm all for the idea of using natural methods and replenishing what is being taken away. Like I love people that I know of. I don't know where they are anymore, but I heard of a lumber company one day that yes, they go out and they clear cut, but the areas they clear cut, they replant and leave them alone. It's like, okay, we're going to replant this forest, and now we're going to carry on and cut elsewhere. But they're replacing what they're taking, and this is a sign of proper resource management. Okay. Well, the reality, one thing we have to remember when it comes to oil is we can't shut the oil industry down. This would be an absolute disaster. Okay. I do agree there are other fuels that would be more economical, more efficient. Okay. But where it comes to the oil industry itself, we still have to recall, never mind the foodstuffs, but the containers, your computers, virtually all of your plastics are all based on the fuel industry. And yeah, it would be great to go, yeah, well, we can use natural methods for containment. Well, you can. Okay. But trying to get somebody motivated to get up and cut a cord of wood, to actually run for a period of time so you don't actually have to deal with things. Getting people motivated enough to do that is a challenge. Oh, that's okay. Not only you're absolutely right, Angels. Not only is it hurting her, but it's ticking her off. Okay. It's also, quite frankly, and I cannot prove it, okay, but I will tell you that was the cause of the release of what ended up happening of our entire global shutdown there for a while. Because she is not happy with fracking, with clear cutting, with strip mining, anything that just decimates the area is not making her happy. Yeah, and that part, Nathan, I absolutely agree with you. I get a kick out of it. People are complaining about power outages and brownouts and what have you. I'm looking at this going, okay, so you already know you're taxing your electrical field to the hilt. So you're going to build electric cars that put more strain on the electrical field, on the electrical system. And then you're going to make illegal the oil cars, the gasoline cars. Now, mankind is not even close to prepared to deal with it. Yeah, that can always be fun. Just looking here. Got to go back through, and what I've got to do, quite frankly, is the same thing I did with the ships. I'm just making a note here because what I've got to do. I've got a document now where I've got all the races listed and and which ships they work with, all in one document, so I can pull it up. I've got to do the same thing with the different races. And again, YJ, same as I mentioned earlier. If you can send me the information, any information you've got on it, I may already have a lot of the information on it. Okay, that extends beyond that to identify who you're dealing with. See, I know there's a couple of races. I mean, humans think in terms, for the most part, of white, brown, yellow, and red. White, brown, yellow, black, and red. Green is not a color for humans unless you're ill. And, in my opinion, gray ain't a great color for humans either. Of course, I've been gray. And I do mean when I had my heart attack, my skin was this color, which, was a great showstopper. The neat part about it. So what I've got here, where are we? Short list of races with key points. That way I can take a look at them, get them all on one document and go, there we are. Because I did figure out how to get Excel to do that for me. Considered it, but haven't got the technical wherewithal to deal with it. And most of the information, like I've got my own database I've been working on, but have I had a bunch of people send me information? At this point, no. I don't have the technical capacity at this point to cope with that one as well. And I certainly don't have the wherewithal to go out and do the proper research to verify. So what we'd be looking at is simply, this is the information that's out there that's being reported. Somebody else can go do the research. But that's one of the reasons I've got that stack of paper behind me. Okay, is because of the number of times I've dealt with people that have ended up sometimes dreams aren't quite as much a dream as you might think. But I ended up dealing with a client that had a vortex in her house. Okay. And it was funny because, very staunch Christian woman, she felt that she had sinned by even contacting me, but she says, I don't know who to talk to. My priest will tell me that I'm a sinner and that I'm going to go to hell because of reporting it. She goes, but I'm standing here, and meanwhile, there's a staggering amount of noise in the background. I'm like, what the heck is all that noise? And she goes, all of my pots and pans and dishes are flying around in a circle. Right. I said, well, that does qualify as weird. Oh, I don't know. Vortexes are a lot of fun. In my opinion, of course, I'm a little twisted. But I asked her, I says, okay, I've got a question for you. Very serious. Can I help you? The answer is yes. But I said, are any of the dishes in the air right now, or any of your pots, irreplaceable? Or are they of real major sentimental value? Right. And she goes, well, no, they're all just standard dishes. I said, okay, I'll tell you how to shut it down, but you're going to have a heck of a mess to clean up. Right. So I gave her the tools, and she shut the thing down. And all of a sudden, the wind stops, and you get this earth-shattering crash, right? And she comes back on the phone. She goes, they all hit the floor. I said, no, they didn't. Some of them were on your counter. But that was, for her, that was a real eye-opener. And I said, by the way, you remember that funny little comment in your own training that tells you God created everything? She goes, yeah. I says, and how, pray tell, can admitting that that's real, how can that get you in trouble with him? Okay. So we had a little bit of a conversation down that road. And of course, the fact that I'm also an ordained minister really helped her. Okay. It's weird. The second you take, and I actually went through the Universal Life Church down in California simply because they went, I don't care what you call God, just as long as you deal with things accordingly. But yeah, YJ, it is an incredible chunk of information. Okay. And much of the information, and this is why I say, if you can send me what you've got, I will compile it. You saw the stack of paperwork I've got. So I'll be dealing with that. I've got, where'd my list go? No, that's that list. This one. I think this is going to be a late night for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, I already had rope. So, yeah, I've got six books I'll be working on tonight, and by the look of it, yeah, we're winding down. But yes, it's a necessary. The thing is, it's a big undertaking, but it's one that unfortunately has been really badly overlooked. Because what happens is so many people have an encounter, they've got no proof, they've got no pictures, they've got no nothing, no anything. If you've got no nothing, you've got a whole pile of something. But, there's databases for people that have facts, that have pictures. There isn't one for people that don't. Okay. So, I'm taking a look at this information here. And of course, the neat part is many of the races I run into, okay, I'll go looking for them because I find out about one that I don't recall, and I just have to go figure out where he is or where they are. But this is what I was referring to about finding something that really gets your attention. Okay, that absolutely gets your blood going. So you can get up in the morning and do something. That's just I've noticed something here. We are down to 3 people in the chat room, which is great. I mean, I do thank you guys for sticking with me. I'm hoping that what's happening is a whole pile of people have bailed and headed over to support Kimberly. Which is where I'll be going momentarily here. But the fact of the matter is we've got a massive, massive job ahead of us. And YJ, I do feel that that's actually a good idea to start really compiling it into a solid base. Now, with that said and done, we're down to the last couple of minutes here. But like I said, if you like the stream, absolutely give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and remember to hit that alarm button so you know when the next one's coming out. Though I do try to come on every day except Thursday from 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Okay. Now, I'm looking at this. I technically have another 6-7 minutes before the 6:30 mark. But with that in mind, because I do want us to go and support her. Thank you so much, YJ. I do appreciate it. And like I said, we are going to, for you personally, it matters to you personally, on the 1st, we are going to look into subquantum cellular regeneration, which is transferable, quite frankly, in conjunction with modern medicine in repairing the damage that your body's going through. Do not buy into the idea that it cannot heal. Okay, very critical you keep that one in the forefront of your mind. Okay, now, with that in mind, because I do desire to go over and I'm going to head over myself, probably in about 5 minutes, because I got to get this shut down first. Thank you so much there, Henry. I appreciate it. The nice part about it, and again, while I'm doing that, a lot of the reason I keep this pad handy is so that I can make notes of what pops out of my own mouth. Because I'll tell you, when you're working on something and your mind goes there, make a note of it. Make a note of it, make a note of the time, the whole 9 yards, because it will help you get things organized. Okay, and help keep you on top. Now, with that in mind, I am going to call this tonight, but thank you so much for sharing your time with me. And until we meet again, which, by the way, will be tomorrow at 4:30, until we meet again, do take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.